Cindy Lanti, Alondra, podcast.
Bienvenidos a otro episodio de Entre Risas y Llantos. Me llamo Alondra Alcázar.
Y yo soy Cintia Alcázar.
Y como pueden ver, tenemos a un invitado muy especial. We have a special guest today. I guess today's episode will be majority in English. I'm so sorry for all the Spanish speakers.
Lo siento.
Yeah, you guys have been dying to know how we met and everything, but aquí mis ojos todavía no hablan muy bien el español.
Y no queremos estar traduciendo siempre cada,
I might try
cosa.
to code switch, a little Spanglish in them, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We're gonna see. It's probably gonna be like one word a sentence, but I'll throw something in there.
Okay. So I encourage you guys to follow us on all of our social media pages. Right here on YouTube, we're Entre Risas y Llantos podcast. Please subscribe. We're almost close to reaching, how many? 200?
200.
Yeah, we're close to reaching 200 subscribers. So please help us get to our goal. We are Entre Risas y Llantos podcast, like I said, in YouTube and on Instagram, and on TikTok, we are Entre Risas y Llantos pod. So we're going to have all of the details in the description below. And if you guys see one of the videos that comes up on your For You page or whatever, please give it a like, comment, share, and we really, truly, truly appreciate it.
We're going to dive a little bit into how they met, how they're going about their life right now, moving in together, and everything in between.
Before we get started, so Marlon, tell everybody where you're from.
I'm from a small city called Monroe, Michigan, south of Detroit. Born and raised there. After college, I lived in Detroit for a couple years, and now I'm in Chicago.
How do you guys meet in college, and what was your first impressions of each other?
We met on a yacht.
Okay, Marlon.
Met on a yacht, right? Pacific Ocean.
Look,
West
I do know
Cali.
the story, right? You don't have to lie to the public.
It's crazy. You asked me the question.
Okay, we went to a small college we went to a small private college in Michigan. I went to that college following my ex-boyfriend, and
I went to play football.
Yeah, and I met Marlon because he would always holler at my roommate, and I would always tell her, "Oh, you should get with him." Like, I was just like, just give him a chance. Yeah, so that's how I knew about you. Like, I didn't know who you were before that.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, you're that friend that's always encouraging the friend, but you always stayed with him.
What do you mean?
You know, esa amiga que dicen, ay, ándale a sal con él, and then you end up being with them.
Yeah, but like how many years later?
Yeah, I know.
Not in my mind, that was never gonna happen because that was freshman year. I didn't start talking to Marlon until my senior year. O sea, nada que ver. Like, he was not in my plans. But he would always try to holler at her. So I was just like, oh, you should give him a chance. Like, and we never talked, even though we had
Not a word.
we had the same friend group.
We did.
No, we had mutuals. We had mutual friends.
Like, I knew her. I knew about her and everything and all her friends because of my freshman year roommate. He was real cool with all of them and stuff.
But we didn't talk until we were seniors. So basically, junior year, I was finally single. Junior year, no, summer going into senior year. Yeah, that was the year que te ibas a casar, and you had your bachelorette trip. And your bachelorette trip is what made me. I was like, I'm never getting back with that motherfucker. So there's this feature in Tinder. I downloaded
Tinder.
I downloaded all the dating apps. Not all of them. No,
The main ones.
yeah,
though.
the main one. I downloaded Tinder, and Tinder, when you're in college, it gives you the option to put your college. So then all the people from your school,
Radius, yeah.
yeah, or other people from, like, yeah, everybody that's around you, all their school logos are gonna come out.
Oh, okay.
So you see them like, this one is in Michigan State, this one is in U of M.
Yep.
So it's kind of like they are real people. I don't know. And then you see all the Albion people that were there.
Yep.
And then Marlon came up on my shit, and I was just like, you know what? I always say this. I'm like, thank God he never did anything with my freshman year roommate, because I would have never talked to him.
Right.
Because for me, that is disgusting.
Right.
Porque ella nunca ligó con él.
Right.
That would have been, even though like me and her fell out, we were
Right.
not friends. So, but yeah, so if you would have done something with her, like, you know what I mean? I would have never talked to you. I would have thought that was disgusting.
Damn.
So thank God you did it. What was your first impression of me?
Damn, she got ass.
That was it.
Mucho Nalgona. Mucho.
I have a heart too, you know.
I didn't know at the time.
But
And I ain't never really messed with no Mexican woman.
So it was your first experience with the
I
Mexican.
had
No,
never. Wait,
But like authentic.
What the fuck? This bitch is not authentic Mexican.
Not like whitewash. I can tell English. I can tell
okay.
English wasn't her first language by any
Right.
means.
Okay.
I was an
You know,
authentic Mexican girl.
Like Latina, like for real. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never experienced that.
Okay.
Not a lot where I come from. Not a lot of Mexicans where I come from.
So I remember, I had never been with a black guy before either. Like, and I've never had a type. I've never like, I only
Savage.
like. I've never said like I only like Mexicans. I had only been with Mexicans because that's literally everybody
around.
That's literally everybody that's around
In the high
us.
school you went to.
And
too.
my high school was predominantly Latinos. We estaban contadas las personas que eran black and white, like
Right.
or another race or ethnicity. We did not. It was not that diverse. I know that our school at Albion wasn't that diverse, but like that was for me the first time. That was a culture shock because for the first time I wasn't surrounded by too many Latinos for the first time in my life. And I remember when I was with my ex, the one that was before Marlon, we went to go see Black Panther. It was like they played it at school. Were you there in the premiere too?
Yeah, I was there.
So
Maybe. But yeah, okay, go ahead.
So our school, we only had one theater in the entire town, but whenever we had like a big movie coming up, the school would reserve the whole movie theater only for students.
Right.
And it was when Black Panther was coming out because the Marvel movies were always pretty big for like college students or whatever. And I remember, you know who Michael B. Jordan? You know who Michael B. Jordan is, Cynthia?
Yeah.
And he came out in Black Panther, and I remember I went to go see it with my ex. Because I remember there was a scene where Michael B. Jordan took off his shirt and you saw all his scars.
Yes.
Tell me why all the girls in the theater went crazy. Woo! Obviously, I knew better than to do that, but I was smiling. And then he looked at me and was like, "So you like black guys?" And I was just like, "What the
Low
fuck?"
key though, anyway you would have reacted, he probably would have said that. Even if you didn't smile, if you would have been like, or if you would have been like that, he probably.
But I was just smiling, like you don't know what.
Even
I'm
if you would have been like this, why you covering your eyes?
Yeah, he would have said.
yeah,
because
because he was just a freaking.
That's what you do.
Toxic ass. Shut up. He was just a toxic ass man. So I remember he didn't forget that he was just like, "Oh, so you like black guys?" And I was just like, "No, what the hell?" And he like got really insecure about it.
It turns out you do.
Yeah. But like fast forward, I feel like the thing that won me over about you was how funny you were. I feel like that's like the number one thing to win over a girl's heart. If you can make them laugh, like literally like all the time.
It's a wrap. Because, growing up an ugly individual, you got to be funny.
You know how I see Marlon like a little kid. I'm sorry.
I ain't had no other way. You got to be funny when you ham. You know what I'm saying? You got to be funny, right? If you don't have the looks, you got to be funny. If you ain't got that either, it's a wrap.
That's true.
Dog food.
Imagine being ugly and unfunny. That's crazy.
I met people like that. So when did you guys know it was serious?
When she was in San Antonio, that same year, so COVID year, right? No, before 2019,
No, yeah,
the end of COVID.
No.
Before COVID.
Wait, did you went to San Antonio?
No, porque what he's saying is that you know how I had 1 month of winter break in college?
Right.
So I was a senior and there was a moment where we were like, okay, we're being exclusive to each other. Because we had to establish that. When you're in college, you're like, okay, are we exclusive or not? Because, yeah, we're not going to be fucking around with different people.
So you guys were not like a relationship just yet?
No.
Right? Okay.
But we knew, I felt like maybe it was heading there, but I don't know because I was just like, am I ready to get into a different relationship? Not because I didn't like him. I did really like him, but I was like, I don't know. In my head, I was just like, should people wait a certain amount of time?
Right.
Because the relationship before him was a 4-year freaking relationship. But I was gonna go to Mexico for the entire winter break, and I remember Marlon and I were on FaceTime, or we were talking on the phone when I was in the airport.
Yeah.
When I was heading there, and I remember he said something that like I was just like, what the hell? Like, are you playing with me? Because I said in the previous episode, I'm a lover girl. I feel like I've always like. Something that I tried doing differently with Marlon, I was like, I'm not going to give my all to a man right away. Because I feel like you need to let a man chase you just a little bit.
Right.
I'm not going to be the first one to tell him that I like him.
Right.
Or whatever. And he said something in the call when I was at the airport. He was just like, man, and it was random. He's like, I'm gonna marry you one day. And that shit caught me off guard. First of all, he's not even my boyfriend yet. I was like, what the hell? Do you remember that?
Yep.
He said, and word per word, he was just like, I'm like, what? And he was just like, yeah. He's like, imagine. He's like, Mexican folk, black folk, all we need is the Jamaicans and it's a party. You think I can make that shit up?
Yeah.
You said that and I will never
Jamaicans.
forget it. And I was just like, in the back of my head, I was like, I don't know about that.
So when she was in San Antonio, we would talk on the phone for hours.
Damn, on vacation?
Yeah.
About every night, right? Yeah, every night.
Well, first I was in Guadalajara for 2 weeks.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
And then I went to the pueblo.
But the whole time she was in Mexico, we would talk.
This was COVID, right?
No,
Before.
this is before COVID.
Like, right before.
Oh, okay.
Because it's 2019 todavía.
Oh, okay.
We would
COVID
talk.
was established March 2020.
Yeah, we would talk every night, hours on the phone. I know all her data ran out too. You know, it ran out in Mexico.
It did. Well,
So-
actually, when I was in Guadalajara, I had Wi-Fi.
Right, but in SAG.
But I would FaceTime you a lot. I was showing him like my tias in
Yeah.
Guadalajara, and they would talk to him, and she's like, they were like, "Es tu novio?" I'm like,
Wait,
no.
what was my tia's impressions at first?
it was mi tia Silvia.
Okay.
It was me and her, and then I was just like, "Oh, do you?"
Sylvia.
And I was like, "Do you want to meet my future boo thing?" And she was just like, "Okay." And then I FaceTimed him, and he was just like, "Hola, tia." And then she's like, "Hola, guapo." And then she's just like, "Ta guapo, mija." And then she was just so happy, and I'm
Right.
like, "Aw."
Sylvia is a sweet woman.
What? So how did you ask my sister out?
I plan to ask her out on January 26th. It just so happened that same day, Kobe passes.
Yeah, I know.
It's the same day Kobe died. Yes. I mean, you can't blame for that, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to carry it out anyway. At the library when we were studying, I bought her some hot Cheetos. Didn't I bring you some Cheetos? And I had a little note.
A card.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Something like, will you go out with me? But I had like a little cheesy message in there, though.
It
I
said,
did for sure.
¿Quieres hacer mi novio?
Yes, I had my homie, my good friend Mario, who was probably my only Mexican friend before I met you guys and stuff. I helped him. He helped me out with translating. So I wrote it down.
Bro, Google? You couldn't Google?
I could have, but I didn't want to. So I had my friend help me out because I know from her, Google isn't always correct.
Oh.
So I wrote it down on a note, bought some chips. Did I bring you flowers?
Yeah.
We were at the library. As soon as I sat down, I was nervous too.
He was like this. He put everything right there, and he had his headphones on. He was like, "Open it."
What?
Yeah, I was so nervous. I haven't asked a woman out in forever. I was so nervous.
Aw.
So nervous.
So what do you think about it now?
And so, hold on, wait a minute. I ain't done. So first thing she does is open the bag of Cheetos.
No cierto.
Yeah.
She would. That's her favorite.
Yeah, opens the bag. I'm like, but she does take a look at the note. Eats another Cheeto. I'm like, so?
So that's a yes.
She's like, yeah, okay. I'm like, all right, bet.
Oh yeah, because I didn't answer right away.
No, I was like, so? Like,
You were like eating, you're like, mm.
No, I recorded it. I was like, oh, I was like, well, duh, I knew it was gonna be a yes.
And then I was just thinking, because I had to freeze for a second. She would have said no, I'd have took that bag of Cheetos out of her hand.
You don't even eat Cheetos.
Bag. Nah, but somebody else would have.
Yeah, that's true.
What would have you done if I would have said no?
Took the Cheetos back and left.
Never talked to her.
Nope.
Yeah.
For what?
No, este es bien sentido.
For what?
The true Gemini king
Oh my
right
God,
here.
I can't believe, dude. My son is just a day apart from
why
you.
would I try to go back?
That's true. So how was it like meeting the family here in Chicago? Our family.
No, it wasn't pleasant. They did not like me.
I know.
Y'all didn't. A lot of y'all did.
Y'all.
So,
Y'all.
so
Wait, Marlon, what was your first impression of Cynthia?
I thought she hated me.
Why?
I genuinely thought you
Wait,
hated
Cynthia,
me.
do you remember when you met him for the first time?
No.
I do. We went to that restaurant over there on
La
Kedzie,
Haciendita.
and by 51st.
Yeah?
Yeah, you took
I
us
don't
on
remember.
your break. You took us out. Thank you again.
It was during my spring break. You were like, Alondra, and you knew that he was here.
Okay.
And you were like, well, let me take you guys out for lunch really quickly.
Okay.
Yep. And we went there. We sat there and ate. And obviously, right, I'm not a yapper. Okay?
Right.
Right. I just felt like that whole time I'm answering, you know, but it's like,
Am I asking you questions?
yeah, but not like that, you know.
You
but
weren't being like interrogative.
yeah,
Okay.
but I wasn't being that, you know, talkative either. But I thought you hated me.
Why?
I thought you were gonna tell her, like, you know, when I left or when y'all were together and I wasn't around, like, yeah, he's not the one for you. I thought you hated me. I don't know.
So do you remember now meeting him that day?
No.
What?
I really don't.
Been around so much, man.
I really don't, dude. I
That
told
was
you.
the first interaction.
But I tell you, like, I have really bad memory. Like, I don't remember a lot of things.
But I remember, like, I thought you hated me.
But now that
But I wasn't mean to you.
No.
No.
No. By
well, I also feel like you were kind of serious too, Cynthia. Like you weren't like your full self yet.
You know what? It's because when I meet people for the first time, especially my sister bringing somebody around, I already didn't like her ex-boyfriend. So I was like, I hope she'd better not get somebody just, you know.
She was being a little, what is it?
I've been always
Protective.
protective of you.
No, very serious. I
So,
don't blame you.
and I would always tell her, like, I don't like your ex. He has red flags. I would tell her all the red
From
flags.
the beginning, she told me.
And she would never would listen to me. So I'm like, she's going to learn one day.
Yeah. And so moving on to the other extended family, because I remember the first day I got here, the first night, right? We literally get to her house or your house when y'all stayed in Gage Park. I remember we get there, I use the bathroom, and we shoot to Mama Chila's, right?
Right.
All the younger people were cool, no problems, right? And then the older people, nobody gave me any hard time, you know, there at least, you know.
Right.
They were all cool. Some uncles were more approachable than others,
Right.
but all cool, right? I thought it went pretty well. I remember I ate like 4 bowls of pozole. First
Yeah,
time,
dude, you ate a lot.
smacked it. And then I had like 20 tostadas.
Yeah.
Okay.
First time ever having those, outstanding. You know, so at the first jump, I thought everybody was cool. And I thought the same back. Thought it was all mutual. Not necessarily.
What happened?
Some people in the family were not too fond of me.
Why?
Just because he was black.
Just because of my skin color, you know, and then it's fairly new, you know.
Right.
And
It was new in general to the family because nobody
Oh,
had
yeah.
dated a black person before.
I
So
feel like it was the topic of the town. Like
it was definitely the topic of the year.
yeah, because nobody.
You were the topic of the year.
didn't even do nothing.
Nobody had ever dated somebody outside of the race in our family.
Yeah.
So, you know, I paved the way for the younger generations.
Really?
Y'all
You
ever
really
want to
did?
bring all of my younger cousins, want to bring somebody who's a different race? No, the thing is, I feel like it's not even a race thing because have he had been like Asian or, I don't know, Arabic, where your skin color is not anything but black, I feel like that wouldn't have been a problem. It's the
Right.
fact that you were black. And I've already expressed this before, but my grandma, that one hurt the most, and my dad. Those were the two people that I only do care, kind of like getting their
What they
approval.
say, yeah.
Not their approval,
Yeah,
but
my mom didn't have any issues with you at all.
my mom met him in college.
Right.
Yeah.
She didn't care. My mom literally didn't care.
For me, it was more like, is this a serious relationship or it's not? And I was very, very protective of her. But I did, I mean, since I didn't really test you like that, because at first we wouldn't talk like that. Now you're like a fucking little brother. Oh, I'm going to save those words for you at the wedding.
But yeah, my mama Chila and my dad were definitely the hardest ones. And just so we could talk about the story again, porque tu mama Chila me dolía mucho, because you know it was during COVID, and I was trying to find somewhere to do my birthday party in. And I don't think I've shared this story, so this is exclusive.
Yeah.
I was trying to find somewhere to do my birthday party in. And during that time, we couldn't do it where I was living at because we had a landlord that was very, you know, particular. And then I know that it was during COVID, and I only wanted to have literally just my sister
And a
and
few
like
friends.
my five cousins, or
Right.
like my 6 girl cousins, and like my 3 friends, and that was it. And I told my grandma, can you let me do it in your yard? Which she has let many grandchildren do parties in her yard.
Even me
Yeah.
in her basement.
And I'm just like, can you let me do something in the yard? And she was just like, who's it gonna be? And I said, well, it's gonna be my primas, like 3 of my friends, my sister, Marlin, and his sister is coming over. And then she was just like, no. And also, mind you, during these times, remember all of the riots that were going around in Chicago?
Right.
And there's a lot of tension
Right.
in the neighborhood. It's just freaking insane. my grandma was like, I don't want those type of people in my house because it's gonna cause problems if people see that there's black people in.
You know what? It's because around those times it was like they were trying to create like a little war between Mexicans and blacks. Remember around that time?
Yeah.
COVID time. And
was
I don't know.
weird.
It was like social media was trying it so hard for us to not like black people and just to have a fight against each other.
Like, we're all brown people. Like, we should not be divided.
Exactly.
Pero, yeah, she was just like, I don't want those type of people in my house. I was just like, what the hell? And she told me something, dude. I remember, I don't think my grandma had ever hurt me like that. I don't think she had ever, because my grandma's like, yeah, whatever, she'll be criticizing here and there. But to the most part, she's not really that mean.
No.
You know?
No.
And she told me something that I'm just like, what the hell? She was just like, te miras muy mal lo que estás haciendo. You look really wrong what you're doing. Te miras muy mal lo que estás haciendo y no deberías estar con alguien, no deberías estar con un moreno. Vas a empeorar tu raza and this and that. And you know what? I say this because my grandma now loves him, all right? But that is the mentality of a lot of older generation Hispanic Latinos. Okay, and this is the reality of it. No quieren que empeores tu raza y que no sé qué. Y dijo, tú deberías de estar con un mexicano. And she told me that. And I told her, I'm like, ay, pero cuando andaba con el pinche mexicano era bien puto machista. She's like, ¿y qué? She's like, we all deal with that. Like, okay, who cares if they're toxic? We've all dealt with that.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, because if he was Arabic, if he was something else, you wouldn't have cared. Or if he was white, she wouldn't have cared if he was white.
No.
And then she stayed quiet. She's like, well, yeah, no, I'm not going to let you have the birthday party in my house. And dude, honestly, that shit broke my heart. Because my grandma's like literally another mom for me. So that really, really broke my heart. And that kind of leads to the family in Mexico.
So what was it like meeting the family in Mexico?
It was outstanding. They were very accepting. I'm talking about like...
They were accepting, but they're also criticizing.
But not
but
like,
they were more accepting.
Not like, your family here.
No.
They were very accepting, very nice, very accommodating. And, on the surface, very respectful,
Yeah.
Now, I remember Sweet Pie here telling me that one of your aunts said that, oh, he's not that dark.
She's like, we got some darker ones here.
Yeah. And when I got there, I'm like, some of these folks is kind of darker than me. And it is the winter, right? I'm more light skinned in the winter. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm a little darker, but and it was just like, for one, it was a culture shock, right? Totally like 180 from what I'm used to. Right? The small town, how the houses looked, how just people walked around all the time, the roads.
There's no cars.
No.
I feel like that was the perfect place for you because
perfect.
Marlin is not like ambientero. You're not that extroverted. Like, you don't really like parties.
Wait a minute, but there was parties every single day when you guys went.
No, it was during COVID.
Oh.
No, when I took him to Mexico for the first time, it was in 2020. So not a lot of people went that year. You didn't. I
was pregnant.
You didn't go that year because I stayed at Mama Chila's house.
Right, and I was
pregnant.
pregnant.
Go except Juan.
Yeah, so not a lot of people went that first year. It was super chill.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I think he really liked it because it's like super chill place. He loved seeing the scenery. He loved seeing the mountains. Or he would go on the roof
every day
to go see.
The thing about it was like, I found it. So I don't like getting stared at, right? But when I first got there,
that was the problem.
That was the main problem, I'd say. Was that when I would walk, to the corner store or whatever, La Plaza.
Everybody looking at you.
Oh, I felt like an animal in a zoo. I remember seeing people like coming to the windows, like I'm walking by. I'm like,
where is he?
I'm like, hola, and then some old lady was like.
But you also have to understand that they probably don't see a lot of black guys.
Yes,
and it wasn't even all about you
in person. Yeah.
Yeah, like they don't. It's not like. Are they seeing me in a hateful way? You don't know.
No, actually, it was more like just like
they're like, wow, what are you?
Yeah, like I promise you, this is planet Earth. You're gonna see a lot of us.
So many people ask me if he was Haitian. Because there's a lot of Haitians in Mexico.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Haitian immigrants.
No, I know that.
They're like, it's like that,
especially in Michoacan. In the streets, you see them asking for money.
In Guadalajara, like a tourist, right? Nobody stared at me. There was English music on the radio. It was a bigger city.
it's a bigger city.
Yeah.
But you're coming to Michoacan, to a small town.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't get to see, and a lot of people don't even see, like, I'm not saying they don't see movies, but they're not educated. They only been to school up to probably 3rd or 4th grade, and then they start working. So they don't know what's out there besides the town.
Yeah, and it was like, yeah, I'm the first black person they've probably ever seen. And I hope I left a good impression on them folks.
But sometimes he hated it because Marlon does hate being stared at, and he'll stare back. The fuck you staring at? But
I wouldn't say that.
Sometimes. Or you would mumble it under your breath, and I'm like, Marlon.
Yeah, I ain't gonna call nobody out for staring.
Then what the hell are they staring at? I'm like, Marlon, but it was because remember we went to a different town, and you were like, everybody keeps staring at me in Las Estacas. Because that was the second year we went, and you're like, nobody knows me here.
The same place I shit myself at when you were waiting all day for them damn fries.
Wait, say that story again.
That's the same place I shit myself at.
So short story. There was these bathrooms by the plaza, and in Mexico, in the small towns, cuando hacen bailes, there's no bathroom, so you only have like a little place where you pay to go to the bathroom, pero no, there's not even water. You're literally grabbing the bucket of water, and you don't even get to sit down in the toilet because it's really nasty. So, mind you, here, Mister wanted to take a poopies.
I had no choice. I ate.
It's because he had food poisoning, no?
No, I just ate the food they gave us at that Quince celebration, I think it was.
Yeah.
I ate it too fast. I smashed it. I was so hungry, right? But the food in Mexico is different. It's gonna flow through you a little different, and that joint flowed through me.
It's a little too organic.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I gotta go, and I couldn't get nobody house soon enough, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have to thug it out on this nasty toilet. And so I went
But why were you not squat?
Huh?
Oh, no. Okay, so these toilets, it's basically a family that just offers their own toilet, right?
Yeah.
Outdoor
And
toilets.
that's like their little business because that's like the only closest bathroom that you're going to find closest to the plaza. And Marlon was telling us, he was just like, because the toilet does not have a lid, like the seat.
They don't.
They don't have a seat. And I was like, he was like, yeah, man. And I sat down and I was like, you sat down?
I had to go. I had to squeeze that.
I was like,
looked at him. I'm like, oh,
we were like, you sat down on the seat with no lid? And he was just like, yeah, I had to.
I can't poop when I squat.
Wait a minute.
Like that.
This is the time that my house was barely getting built. So my house was not even finished. So they were staying at my grandma's house.
But we're the next town over.
Yeah, right. We're in the next town. But my house wasn't still built yet. And so I was staying at a friend's house in the corner by my house, and my grandma didn't have clean water outside, and they didn't have no hot water.
La pila no tenía agua limpia.
And you guys didn't even have water, I think, that day.
I don't know, but point is, he was just like, oh hell no, like when I get home,
he's gonna take a shower.
Yeah, we didn't have water,
so he comes knocking at the.
No, dude.
Yeah,
he used the water de la pila que
estaba.
No, wait, but he first told me if he could use the shower. You remember you went to the house and knocked on the door and you're like, can I use the shower?
Did.
And I was like, no, you can't. I'm like, because this is not my house. So he went back and he grabbed the water, but he didn't know it was dirty till the next day. He seen it was so green.
You know why?
I told him to.
Yeah, she told me.
I thought it was clean.
She swore.
La agua de la pila no estaba limpia, estaba sucia. And I was just like, yeah, just clean your ass with that.
Sure did too. I was like, hey.
Didn't you do it outside too? You grabbed the bar soap?
Butt ass naked outside.
Outside.
I'm like, gotta thug it out. Hey, I gotta wash something. I'm over here dookie ass in it. I gotta do something.
The next day he sees the water. He's like, oh my God, you made me wash.
Yeah, because she gonna say, "Oh, it's fresh water." It's fresh. I'm like, and I knew I shouldn't believe her. I'm like, "How is it fresh? It doesn't get changed or nothing."
Why was it full then?
My grandma always had that shit full.
Well, how was it fresh? Like, look at that. I'm like, all right, I guess.
But anyways, talking about the family de Mexico also, Marlon loved them. Like my tias from over there would be like so chiviadas when they would be around Marlon. They would get like, he would always have them laughing at all. He didn't even have to speak Spanish. It's just the shit he was doing like that would always make them laugh.
Yep.
The kids will follow him.
Yeah, kids love me.
He would always play. He's a big ass kid. He was always playing with the kids. And I remember I was like, I'm gonna use this as the perfect opportunity to talk about my grandma.
To snitch.
Yeah, I'm a snitch. So we were all eating, and I was with the tias, and I was just like, they were like, "Oh no, es bien chistoso, que se que el otro." I'm like, "Well, do you know that your sister does not like him. And my grandma didn't go to Mexico that year. And they were like,
and this is from March
what?
to December that same year. So all the months, so most of that year, she ain't like me.
Yeah, so,
Right.
yeah, because we started dating in the beginning of 2020. And when I took Marlon to Mexico, that was December of 2020.
End of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my grandma didn't like him through all those months. So, yeah, so then I snitched and they were like, they literally were like, ¿Cómo que no? Well, what do you mean that they don't like him? That this and this and that? And I'm like, yeah, she doesn't like him because she's racist. She doesn't like him because of the color of his skin. And they were like, no, that's not right. He's a good man. He's educated. You know, I'm just like, yeah, like literally, he doesn't drink, no tiene vicio. Y este que el otro. And they were
My
like,
sister talking wonders about him.
no, that's what they were saying. They were
Right.
like, no tiene vicio, tiene su educación. That like literally just because of the color of his skin, they didn't understand why. And also, you guys have to understand, like in Mexico, they don't deal with a lot of people from different races and ethnicities, so they haven't built stereotypes.
Right.
And here there are hella stereotypes. So that's why la gente es como es aquí en los Estados Unidos contra like how it is versus in Mexico.
Yep.
So they called my grandma and they were like, Chila, ¿cómo que no quieres a Marlon porque es moreno y que sé que el otro? And they're like, este es un buen muchacho. My grandma was like, yo no dije eso. Mentirosa. I was like, ay, mamá Chila. She's like, no, yo no dije eso. They're like, no, Chila, eso no está bien. Y la regañaron sus hermanas. They're like, eso no está bien. Ese es un buen muchacho y no deberías de ser así. And I don't know but yeah, that was the reason why my grandma started acting different.
That was the turning point. I remember coming back. I think whenever the next time I seen her, we were all talking. She was like, how's Mexico stuff, you know, and
she was being more polite and asking you questions.
She made me a little plate. She never made me a plate before.
Can you
yeah,
believe
that's
that?
true. Yeah, that's true.
Mama Chila would always serve people food when you're in her house or heat you up tortillas. You know, she stopped serving me food when I would go to her house.
Yeah.
And she stopped calentándome la comida, which I don't expect my grandma to do these things for me. It was just that's how she shows her love. And she stopped doing that to me when I started dating Marlon. And that's what would always hurt. And so, yeah, one day we went to her house and le sirvió a Marlon. I was just like...
Total 180.
Y Alondra, pregúntale cuántas tortillas quiere. I'm like...
Aww.
And that's it. I don't know. Maybe
That's
the conversation she needed with my tías.
Nomás le faltó una regañada.
That was a turning point.
So how did it came about you guys moving in together?
So we were long distance for a while. So from when we graduated 2020 to about 2023?
Yeah.
So long distance, you know, Detroit, Chicago, back and forth with each other and stuff. And we've talked about moving in, like, you know, briefly from time to time. And we made it clear, I made it clear that I don't want to live in Michigan or Ohio. I'm sick of it.
Okay.
So I had no problem moving, you know, wherever she wanted to go. I had no problem. I just don't want to live in either one.
Right.
And you didn't want to move in with my parents.
No.
Because remember, my mom wanted to fix the attic.
Oh, yeah.
She was going to renovate the attic because she wanted me to live there.
I even told you, I'm like, you're going to live in my mom's house?
Yeah, I'm like, no, I don't. Why would I move out to move in with some more parents? I'm moving out of mine. No, I want my own place, you know?
So then basically what happened, so yeah, Marlon didn't want to live with my parents. And for me, I was just like, why not? Who cares? Like, let's just live together. For me, I just wanted to live with him already because we were like dating for 3 years. And so then eventually I already spoke about how I got my house in the previous episode. So go check that out, or the reason why I got my house. But so yeah, so basically the next move or the smartest move was for me to become a homeowner. And there was you went to a couple showings with me, right?
Yeah.
There was a weekend that you were gonna come visit Chicago, and he did come see a couple houses. But this one, the house that
no, I didn't know which. I knew for a fact the houses we seen together.
were a no.
No, yeah, we disagreed on pretty much all of them, especially the location. But
yeah. But
so,
for the most part, I wanted to get a multi-unit so that we can rent out one of the apartments and so that I can live in the other one, and so that most of our mortgage would be getting paid through the tenant's rent. So, or that's what the plan was. And we finally moved in together you moved in. I bought the house in January of 2023.
And I moved in February.
Yeah.
Yeah, February. I had to get stuff straightened out with
Just
my
1 month.
job. I had to leave my job, find a new job. Or
And
at
you
least,
found a job right away.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Pretty. God bless, because the job market ain't all that.
But Marlin's always been lucky with getting jobs.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is that you've been having a lot of luck with getting a better job each time.
Yep.
That's nice.
Yep. And the job I had in Michigan, I had a pretty good job. For the most part, I had a lot of freedom, leniency, pretty much how it is now. And found a job at UIC. Also did some Uber Eats, to try to get some extra money in the pocket and stuff. And, just kept elevating.
So you guys have any pet peeves that you had to get used to?
Yes.
What is it?
I don't know why, but she just doesn't like turning off lights.
Oh my God.
Unless we go to sleep.
I'm surprised because my dad was always turning off the lights.
I don't know why she's allergic.
Did, but I didn't.
I don't know why she's allergic to the bathroom light. And I promise you.
But it's crazy because that's the only light you get mad with. Only the bathroom one. The kitchen light could be on. And
so wait, is he my dad?
That's fine.
Did you marry my dad?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, you get mad because I don't put the top lock on the doors. I'm like,
because
that's my husband.
I've opened the door with the bottom being locked, but the top was not locked. So of course you need to lock the top too.
Okay.
Like what do you mean?
Baby, it's okay. You don't have to get that mad.
No, I'm fine. Like what do you mean?
What about you, Alondra?
My biggest pet peeve?
That's just one of mine though.
You waste too much water. Nah, I'm just kidding. Stop showering.
I shower at least like once.
He showers for like an eternity.
Yeah, I gotta love. I can't function. My day is not complete unless the shower's involved.
And if you guys think we're taking showers together, no, he showers in 100+ degree freaking water.
Really hot showers.
When you put all the way the hot water? Yeah. It's not even. He doesn't even turn on the cold at all. It's just hot. Yes.
I need to take.
You see the steam coming off of his skin. You would think it would be the other way around, that women are typically the ones that like. No.
Well, Javi does take a little hot.
No. I think my biggest pet peeve is when you're playing the game and I call your name and you can't fucking hear me.
I'm in war. I can't hear you. Come on now.
Dude, I could be like, Marlin, and he won't hear me. Nope. I'm like, give me that freaking headset.
No, you should just turn off the Wi-Fi. Like I did last time.
Wait, guys, Cynthia went over to my house when Cynthia and I were going to go do a collab. So she decided to come to our house straight after work because the collab I was going to drive us, and plus the place was closer to me. So she went into my room. I'm working from home. Like, don't bother me. Don't bother me, Cynthia. Like, I'm literally still working. So she goes to our room to get ready. And I guess she's just like, I don't know what the hell this is connected to, but let me just disconnect the whole thing. And then I'm like,
genius.
Damn, I have no fucking Wi-Fi. And I was on a call with a customer too.
And I was in the game. I'm sitting here like, why is the Wi-Fi not working? And I checked the app. It's like, no, your Wi-Fi is down. I'm like, okay. Maybe somebody else's is. So I'm chilling.
No, I started using hotspot. I didn't know what it was.
You guys didn't even see. I'm fucking brushing my hair with your secadora, dude.
Just freely.
I always use the things in the bathroom. I don't use.
And I'm sitting here. I'm thinking. I'm like, ain't no way she unplugged. I'm like, nah. So I'm like, let me go check. Damn, unplug. I'm like, well, that's why the Wi-Fi out.
Do you like living with me?
Yes, I love it.
I thought she was a yapper.
She is. So I can't have a good time, though.
Yeah.
Dude, when Marlon wakes up, I can't talk to him for 2 hours.
Like an hour.
Oh, sorry. Because. Yeah, I have to give you time. This is a process. I cannot talk to you when we're still in bed. You have to go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, use the bathroom, and then maybe I can talk to you.
Yeah, that's the thing. Don't expect me to talk when I get up. I don't function unless my teeth get brushed.
Javi wants to be like talking. And to this point, I always tell him, can you just give me some space? Like, I don't want to talk. My thing is like, I go to the bathroom and I go say thank you. Thank you for my life. Thank you for this. That's right? My ritual every fucking morning.
Really?
Every morning I go give thanks to God. I give thanks to everything. But while I'm in the toilet. And I don't even have to take a shit or anything. But I'm just like there sitting down and I'm meditating. And then Javi comes along and he's like, did you know? And I'm like, bro, like, how can you have so much energy?
I'm ready to start talking about my dream.
Yeah, I'm not a morning person whatsoever.
Me neither.
It's like I need my time to just wake up.
Yeah.
Same.
But you know what? I like living with Marlon because he doesn't tell me shit. So I think it's like very easy to be like bien exigente when you're living with someone. Like, oh, you don't do this, you don't do that. Él nunca me dice nada. And like sometimes I feel so bad because the mess is 100% mostly mine. And yeah, you know what he tells me? Honey, do you know when you're going to put your clothes away?
I'm still waiting on my hamper.
I know.
To this day. Well, it's
keep
only
waiting.
Been like,
and then I'll be like, okay, today. And then I didn't get to it today. And he doesn't get mad at me because I know I said today, but I didn't. But he doesn't get mad at me. But you know that I have like bursts of energy. You know that there's times when I clean the whole fucking house.
Right.
But
that is
very
one
rare.
of my pet peeves.
Very rare.
Yeah.
But it's like, the only reason why it's my pet peeve, because if she gets the burst, I for some reason have to be involved in it.
Yeah.
Like if you want to get a burst and do it, you do
I'm
it.
getting this burst
I don't
of
want to
energy.
do it.
You better fucking help me clean right now.
Like before she
You're
travels.
sounding like me, bro.
Like before she travels.
I want to clean the whole house.
She does everything but pack.
Yeah.
She does everything but
Hey,
what's
in
needed
my
to
mind,
be done.
Guys, in my mind, my house has to be clean before I pack.
She does everything except what's needed to be done. Right.
Talking about packing, I gotta clean my house before I go.
And she'll be like, all right, I'm gonna start packing. I already know she's gonna start cleaning.
I'm gonna start cleaning first.
Why do I gotta get involved? Because you didn't pack. I gotta get involved because you gotta do what you gotta do. I already did what I gotta do.
Yeah. And then no, but it's okay.
No, but it's great though.
Yeah.
No, it's a blessing, you know. And even it really hit me how much I love living with her, because recently when I went to Texas for football,
yeah.
I didn't care that I got released early. Right? I didn't care I got sent home. For one, because I did a hell of a job. It just was out of my control. Two, I was ready to go back.
Right.
I was ready to go back. I hate hotels. I wanted to be with her, my dog, my home. It was great. I was ready to come back. I was actually praying if we didn't win, like it ain't too bad if we don't win. I get to go home earlier than you know what I'm saying? So no, it was
You
no,
like
no, it's great.
beanies?
Sometimes.
You like beanies?
No. Yes.
So Cynthia, what is it like having Marlon as your brother-in-law?
I like it. It's like having a brother that I never had.
Mm-hmm.
He calls me randomly.
Every fucking day. I feel
Every
like.
day.
No, not every day.
We talk almost every day.
We do talk almost every day, but he would just call me for like a minute just to say stupid songs.
Cynthies.
I love you, Cintis. And they'll hang up.
Wait, so it's funny because he commented on your Instagram post, I love you. And I think you commented saying, I hate you.
Yeah.
And
something
then,
just rude.
And then he texts me, your sister told me she hates me. Tell her to tell me she loves me. And I'm like, she hates you. And then he put the emoji that's like going like this. And then when he showed me the text between my mom and him,
dude, that had me cracking up, talking about me.
He was like, Cintia dijo, he texted my mom, Cintia dijo que me odia.
I'll read it off.
Dile
Yeah.
que me diga que me ama.
I texted Mama Upe. Cynthia dijo que no me amaba. Dile a Cynthia que diga que me ama, por favor.
No.
And my mom, she said, okay, yo le digo, espero que estés bien en donde estés, cuídate mucho y que Dios Todopoderoso te bendiga siempre en donde quiera que estés y te proteja de todos los peligros. Amén. Y tú eres mi niño pequeño, Marlon. Gracias, te amo, dice Marlon. Y yo también, mi niño chulo. I'm like spoiled.
Yeah, and I was in Texas at the time.
Honestly, my mom does spoil Marlon a lot.
Wait, Marlon, what is it like having Cynthia as a sister-in-law?
You know, it is great. You know, it's really great, okay? Because I have 5 sisters, all right? And I'm the middle child. I'm the youngest on my mom's, middle on my dad. And I'm very close with all my sisters, okay? And when I lived in Michigan, for some reason, I just have to see at least one of my sisters every week. I have to just see them. I have to be with them. And when I was in Michigan, I was there, right? I had 4 sisters there. I have one that lives in Baltimore, but I have 4 sisters there, 2 little, 2 older that I can always see. I have to see, I don't know why, but I have to see one weekly. I talk to pretty much some form of a sister daily, but I have to see them in person at least once a week. And with me not being anywhere close to my sisters, it's kind of different. It's a little uncomfortable. It's not tragic, but a little uncomfortable that I can't just go see my sisters whenever I please, you know. Mm-hmm. But I can. I have been here, right? And it's just not like I need to go, you know, spend time with them. You know, just if I walk up and, you know, I don't know, pick Cynthia's nose or something and take off, that's fine. But I just have to be in the vicinity of some form of a sister. And I have Cindy's.
Oh. And also Marlon isn't the type of brother to like curse out his sisters.
No, I love my sisters
when
very
I remember
much.
when he met me, he was just like, why do you call your sister bitch? Why do you why do you guys call each other that? And I'm just like, because we're sisters. Yeah, everybody.
You know what? Javi told me the same thing. Why do we scream or why do we talk when we eating? And I'm like, because that's how we were raised. Like, we were a little wild. We're a wild family.
And it's
and your sister's the type of relationship you have with them is like when you try to love on them and give them
Yep.
hugs and they're like, like get off.
They love
Only
it, though.
some of them.
Yeah, they love it though.
Like get
you know?
off of me, brother. Or some
Yeah.
do are much more affectionate, but you are like the type to be like, oh, like let me give my sisters hugs and stuff like that.
Because I do that for a reason now. All right. Now I might shed a little tear. Well, y'all might. So I do that, okay, because me and my sisters have experienced so much loss. Okay. So my dad has all of us. We've lost both our grandparents. My sisters on my mom's side, we lost my grandfather. So some of us only have one grandmother left. Mm-hmm. Right? We experienced so much loss between family, friends, right? I just know at every one of them funerals, I always made sure that the people in my life that really mattered to me the most, the day I'm gone, they so happen to still be around, they're going to know I love them.
Aww.
Right? So like, God forbid something happened to me. My sisters have to deal with the, emotions of it. They're going to know, no doubt, that I love them. Mm-hmm. Regardless how they, may treat each other.
Right.
That's between them. But they know for a fact I love them and so forth. And so that goes for you too.
Oh.
If something were to happen to me, you would know. No doubt. You wouldn't have to even question it. And when you lose so many people in your life, that's some things you can't take away. It's like, right. I know, like my grandfather, my grandmother, I knew they had love for me. Mm-hmm. It would really suck to really think like, damn, did he hate me? Mm-hmm. Like I could have changed something.
Right.
So that's why.
That's why you're affectionate?
With my sisters, yes.
And that's why he loves me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I love you too, brother.
And that's why I'm affectionate.
I don't say it as much.
No, you don't. That's why I'm affectionate. I'm affectionate with a lot of people. And
I can't be affectionate though. It's just I don't know how to.
It's practice, I'd say. But I'm affectionate with a lot of people in different ways, Right. My sisters are different than, the homies and stuff.
I mean, me being mean to you, it's affection.
Right. Exactly. I love annoying my sisters. And that's
and Cynthia gets annoyed with you too.
Yeah.
I do. Calling me for no fucking reason. I'm like, what the fuck you want?
You too, though.
You do be calling me.
When I don't answer, you call me.
I call him.
In 3 seconds. Knows I'm an answer.
Somebody has. Yeah, he answers.
I'm an answer every time.
And y'all together, so wait, we haven't still talked anything about you guys being influencers or anything like that. You want to wrap that up a little bit?
And then lastly, just so people can get to know how we started getting into like the social media world. It all started with me posting videos that I already had of Marlin. Because we were in long distance relationships, and not once did I think about posting them on TikTok. I was just like, whatever. I had them all saved on my camera roll, on my Snapchat. And then I would see these videos and I'm like, I feel like people would like these, especially when I was taking him to Mexico. I wasn't posting them on real time.
Right.
All of those videos that I posted on TikTok, they were from like memories from 1 or 2 years ago. And then they would be like, Cuando llevé a mi novio a Mexico. And those were the videos that started blowing up. And then people started loving those. But those were the videos that took off and eventually is what made our page grow. And then that's when we started making like our own type of content. Y el video que explotó fue
the first one in the restaurant.
The first one, No Cash, No Come. And that video was so unplanned, right?
Yeah, I just hop behind there and start saying stuff.
Yeah.
And just so happened to record. And it
was crazy because our cousin was the mesera. And because it's her dad's restaurant. She was... You decided to go behind the counter and just mess around. Impulsively. Didn't ask or just walk back. And we were like, oh my God, let me record you. And she was like telling you what to say. She was like, okay, say this. ¿Qué es lo que te puedo ayudar hoy? And you were like... When I see Martin's face, Martin is not like being told what to do. He's just like, I'm not going to remember all that. And I said, you know what? Just say whatever the hell you want to say. And this video was all one take. It wasn't like when I edit my videos. Right. It was all one take.
And that one blew up.
And it was 1 minute and 30 seconds. And I was just like, whatever. I'm just going to put like captions of what he was saying.
Right.
And that's the video that blew up my entire page. We got
overnight.
But that's the video that helped us reach our first 100K followers. Mm-hmm. And everybody knew him as the No Cash, No Come.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very lit.
And then in terms of social media, I feel like we still have a lot of room to grow. I am the director, I'm the editor, and now we're exploring like collaborations and all of that. And guys, we have a whole 9 to 5. Like we do have full-time careers, especially for me. Like I do have to clock in at a certain time and clock out. Marlon is a little bit more like, he has a little bit more lenience
way more.
He has more lenience with his time. Pero como yo soy la que edito todos los videos, and I do get overwhelmed with my job and finding the balance. I actually just had this conversation with Marlon. I'm like, we've lost a lot of followers, and that's okay. Lo que yo quiero es tener una comunidad. Like, I want to have followers that will stick with me through everything. So, honestly, I don't see nothing wrong with losing followers.
Right.
Because a number, honestly, I feel like we are producing good content, but I still have a lot of saved content, and I'm going to post it. Just be patient.
And then plus, because you just started the podcast too, so that does take a lot of time.
Yes.
For me, it was more like after I saw my sister blew up, she was like, you should start making videos, because I was trying to find a way to earn extra cash.
Yeah.
And she was like, just do it. You always travel. You always go out and eat. And then I started posting little by little, but I was so shy, guys.
And the video que hiciste con Marlin, that's the one that blew you up.
Yeah, that was, So I was like, but I didn't want to use Marlin to be my content, because I was like, I wanted to do my own. Because now Marlin, you live with Marlin.
Yeah, he's not going to be always doing videos.
Exactly. So that's why
but trust me, people always wanted you in my videos too. They wanted Tío Cabecita y ¿Dónde está la bruja?
I know.
Always.
So dude, why would you put the bruja? Now you have people calling me bruja in my comments, la bruja.
I only know that name because of a video game, because of Batman.
La bruja.
But I don't care. At this point, I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah. So hopefully great opportunities come our way in the social media world. Honestly, having all of those followers right now, todavía no estamos en donde queremos estar in terms of opportunities. So we still have a lot of room to grow, and hopefully we can find a really good community that will always stick with us. So just be on the lookout for more videos. And then on the description below, we will have the handles of all of our social media, our personal ones, and then where to follow our page for Entre Risas y Llantos. But that does conclude today's episode.
Also, if you guys have a story that you guys want to share, our email is going to be in the description or right here in the screen. So you guys can go ahead and email us. Si también quieren un consejo, también nos pueden escribir, and we will be gladly to share it in our next episode.
We have yet to get a freaking story or a question. So please, guys, who's going to be the first one? We want to talk about, we want to share your stories, or we want to ask your questions in the next episode. So thank you so much. Thank you, Marlon, for being such a special guest.
See?
And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Tío Cabecita, Cynthia Pau Pau. Ella Pau Pau, nigga.